Okay, so woke up today with a bunch of comments on one of my videos and wanted to do a reaction or reply to all of them. This might be part one because I'm pretty sure I'll get more comments as time goes. And it's on the Navy SEALs are overrated. And basically, I said SEALs are overrated. I also said the military, the American military is overrated, and I still stand by that. I think they're overrated. I think there are better fighting forces out there. Again, just my personal opinion. Now, overrated doesn't mean garbage. It doesn't mean trash. Like I'm not. I think I even said it in the video that I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just saying they don't live up to the hype, that they're put on by like the media or like just common people. And I know I'm not alone on this because I've talked to this with other service members about the Navy SEALs, both when I was in the military and when I was out the military. So I mean, we basically had the same conclusions. It's just they're just really overhyped because of the nonstop Hollywood movies. Anywho, I want to reply to these comments. Okay, so the first comment: ROEs have nothing to do with the operator, though. Okay, I even mentioned in my video, the military has to follow rules, so that kind of hinders you. And I even said, and it's not even their fault, really, that they have to follow these rules, but it does puts you at a disadvantage, and that is a fact. If the person who follows the rules has a disadvantage, like being a cheater, not just in war, but like in anything in life, gives you an edge, a great edge in a lot of cases. It's like people who use steroids in sports to get an edge. It works. As long as you don't get caught, you're highly likely to become successful. Look at the people who run those the bicycles. The Tour de France. Everybody doping up. They won. Yeah, there was repercussions because they eventually got caught, but cheating wins. And when you put a lot of rules on yourself, it kind of hinders your ability to succeed. So I mentioned in my video that the American military has a lot of rules, and other countries kind of don't have those rules. I mentioned Israel. I mentioned the Saudis and North Korea. There's more, like even Russia. Russia does a lot of crazy ass shit. Not historically too. All right, let me continue. Everyone in our branches have to follow those rules. I said that. Either follow them or become a war criminal and go to prison for murder. LOL. You can't compare them to assassins, and you put it on quotations, that you're talking about. That's too funny. Of course you would be afraid of those people with no rules, because now you're dealing with savages, horrible people that can kill children and your family, dog. I would say that's what separates us from the animals and pure evil. Hey, look, I'm not arguing about the morality of having rules. I'm just talking about the basic advantages of, again, just being like objective. If you just look at it objective, and he even agreed, people who are following rules are kind of put at a disadvantage. Not saying I'm not arguing the morality of it being right or wrong. I'm not saying we shouldn't follow rules. I'm just saying that the fact that it kind of puts you at a disadvantage. You're right about the tech, though. I would put my money on any SF versus a guerrilla fighter, even in a jungle, especially at night shift, because of thermal and night vision. They don't stand a chance They just get lit up. But I don't know who cares who's overrated or not. Just let people live their lives. Who cares? Well, obviously you care because you wanted to comment on here. And let me go back to that night vision and tech. This is a thing that I didn't bring up. Well, I think I might have brought it up a little bit. But we have an over reliance on technology. And the fact of the matter is that you're not always going to have that technology. And without that technology, what are you? I for sure brought that up in the video, that take away the tech, are you still badass? Are you still able to do what needs to be done? Okay, I'll bring you some real life examples. There was real life examples where we didn't have air support. You know, it got moved away, or there was weather or whatnot. And when you're used to relying on constant air support and then it's gone, it puts you at a disadvantage, you know. And stuff like that happens all the time. I mean, equipment breaks down, or there's conflicts, some sort of conflict between the branches. And it's not just the military, it's just everyday citizens. We are over reliant on tech and technology and the world around us to be perfect. And when it's not perfect, everything goes to shit. You know, look at what happened during COVID, when everything shut down and everybody's panicking. And I'll put a better example. It's like how this hinders us. Like if I were to rob a bank, it'd be kind of dumb because there's police helicopters, news helicopters. There's a whole lot of police officers, first of all. So I'm outnumbered. They have communication with each other through radios and everything. And so they have the area covered. They have air support, and again, there's like cell phones and all this going around me. And for most people, they think, therefore, stuff won't happen. But a smart criminal might say, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna eliminate all that stuff and have an advantage, like rob a bank when there's fogged out. So there's no helicopters out. Everything's surrounded." Either that or when there's like a storm, like a severe thunderstorm. So now, no air support, you have an advantage. And then start a fire or something in the other side of town, move all police officers to another side of town, and now they don't have the numbers because they're occupied somewhere else. And then you can have stuff like cell phone jammers and radio jammers, frequencies, maybe even take out a tower or two, and now they don't have communications. So people think, oh, just because we have technology that we're kind of safe, and we have an over reliance on it. And when you don't have it, it's like, what now? And that's what I was referring to in the military. That happens a lot. Like anybody who's been in knows that, yeah, in training, you might have the, great weapons, great support, this and that. But in real life, it doesn't turn out like he was talking about night vision goggles. Look at I'm gonna just bring this movie because it's it's relatable. It was Black Hawk Down. Guys have night vision goggles, but a lot of them didn't bring them. Why? Because they were like, it's not gonna take that long. You don't need them, Stuff like that happens. Like maybe they do have them and then they run out of batteries or who knows what. We have like I said, we tend to over rely on our tech. And without the tech, are you still able to do what needs to be done? Okay, another one. It pays to be a winner. I don't know what that's reference. Beyond hilarious and a bunch of smiley faces or laughing faces. LOL, a whole new meaning to armchair general. This man obviously has never been in the military, talking about, I don't care if you can hold your breath because guerrilla warfare is better than special forces or some nonsense. Hey, look, facts is facts. Guerrilla warfare, Vietnam, Afghanistan, I mean everywhere. It wins wars. I'm just, facts are facts. What exactly are his qualifications even? I saw Good Morning Vietnam, question mark. I did see Good Morning Vietnam. Good movie, Robin Williams. But I always hate people want to bring my credentials, my qualifications. Like, it's always like, you know when people get pulled over and the police officer, tells somebody to do something unlawful and they challenge it, and then they're like, oh, are you a lawyer? And I'm like, no, but do I have to be a lawyer to know the law? It's like if a house is on fire and I call 911, hey, there's a house on fire. Hey, hold on. Are you a firefighter? Like, no, but I see the smoke, I see the flames, there's people screaming, wait. But are you a firefighter? What are your qualifications? Anybody, just forget my qualifications and look at the point that I'm making. Is it true? And obviously, the other guy agreed, that the military does follow rules that kind of put them back. And I said a bunch of other stuff too, but my points are valid. And then let me see how I reply to this one. Yep, definitely a fraud. My DD-214 is fake. I guess it was all a dream and I was never overseas multiple times. And I put a laughing face. All right, next one. You obviously have no clue about Special Operation Forces here in America or the men in our ranks. Buds, NDOC, and selection are all mental and physical to see if you have what it takes. I know that. I know that. I even said, I think in a video that, but we have over emphasis on mental training and not enough on other type of training. Mainly like training for an ambush, I think, is the primary thing. And multiple ways of different ambushes, And I mentioned all this in the video. Okay. However, once on the teams, you are constantly training. PT is part of the lifestyle, not the mission. But what I'm saying when I mention PT is that the military itself tends to, again, focus too much on PT versus other stuff. I even mentioned that they focus too much on EO and EO training, all these other kinds of training versus actual on-the-job training. Actual training for what your job entails. Anybody who's been in knows this. You'll do a lot of stuff that's irrelevant to what you will actually do when you deploy. You sound very foolish. The one thing you are correct about is the rules of engagement. Okay. The rules of engagements held us back many times. Laugh out loud. It's very important to know your area of operations. If you unleashed our SF, SEALs, CCT, or Delta with no ROEs or political consequences, no one could stand. I actually agree. If you're not being held back by anything, of course you have a better advantage. I don't know if anybody could stand. I would say they'd be a lot better. Lastly, don't say you or infer that you worked with SEALs just because you were on the same base. You probably only saw them in the chow hall. You have no clue of the mentality we have on game day. All right, I got some replies. Or another reply on that one. A lot of BS at the end. All we do is train tactics after our initial qualification. It's the life of a man in special operation. So full of crap now, but so I'm guessing these two guys are Navy SEALs, and I hurt their feelings. And I replied, it was actually the gym. That's where they would, every time I would go to the gym, that's where they were at. I did have brief interactions with team members since I was acting ISR and COIC. They would tell/ask me to move my asses away from certain areas when they were conducting night raids. I put tell/ask because a lot of times they would just tell me, and I would argue with them. I'm like, we had again, I was in charge of ISR in my AO, and ISR is like predators, any kind of UAV, multiple different kind of aircraft, sometimes even manned aircraft, and a lot of the times they let me finish the comment and then I'll go back to that. Other times they can't. So they would ask me to move when they were conducting night raids. Other times when they cancel operations, they would offer up assets so they didn't go to waste. The most memorable time I can think of is when they had a fallen angel and we had everyone and their mama up in the jock trying to coordinate a massive recovery operations. Okay, so again, part of my deployment, I was working with ISR, and the SEALs, basically JSOC, which consisted of SEALs, Rangers, SF, JTACs. They had night raids in Logar and Wardak province, and at the same time, there's other troops, regular army, all around there. They're doing their operations, and they would get in disputes over ISR because when they're doing their raids, they would tell me, hey man, we can't have your UAVs in anywhere in this vicinity because it's gonna spook our target. And then but then my ground units doing other operations says, hey, we're doing our own thing over here. We need the ISR for Overwatch. And so it would always be a major issue, you know, and constant back and forth arguing. So that's my brief interactions with them. Let me see what else. It didn't happen all the time, but it did. I do remember a couple times. And oh yeah, and then when they had they canceled their missions. They had ISR flying around, but they canceled their operations. And they would ask us, hey, you know, we have this bird in the sky. We're not going to use it, and you know, we don't want to fly it back to base. It still has, it's up in the air already. Do you want it? I would always take it because, again, I was in charge of basically 2 provinces, really 3, because Bamiyan, nothing happened, so never moved anything over there. And I would always find somebody to on the ground that could use it. So there's that. And then also I'll talk about the Fallen Angel, Extortion 17. When that went down, there was a major recovery operation, and that was like joint from everybody. Everybody worked together to make this happen. You know, when I talked about it, when I went to work in the job that day, you had like a representative of like almost every unit. You know, all this brass, because everybody's trying to figure out, okay, how can I help? How are we gonna do this? How are we? You know, it wasn't everybody stopped what they were doing, and the main focus was recovering the aircraft and all the heroes on flight on board. All right, so next one. You have no clue about Spec Ops, man, and you're talking a bunch of nonsense. Everyone should support you for comic relief only. Hey, I don't mind that. Not for accurate information about special operations. Clicks, question mark. Not getting shit? I reply. I definitely did it for the clicks. I even made a video saying I'm doing clickbait things because it works. Yep, I made a whole video saying, hey, look, man, I've been trying different things, and I know I know what works. Doing these clickbait shit. People want to argue and tell people that they are wrong. Look at everyone telling me that I'm wrong. It works. Again, it works. But I do stand on what I say. I do think that SEALs are overrated, just like the rest of the military. I might do a follow-up showing my paperwork for proof of me working alongside the best of the best. Okay, so I even brought my "I Love Me" folder for a little bit of proof. Now, before I go on to that, yeah, so I am doing clickbait things, and to an extent, I'm not gonna say things that I don't believe, because somebody was telling me, you should do something like Tom Brady is overrated, or 6ix9ine is the GOAT, you know. And I'm like, I can't, if I don't really, you know, somewhat believe it, I'm not gonna make a video, you know. I want to talk about controversial things that I still have like a little bit, I somewhat believe, you know. And on this is true. I think they're overrated. Again, I'm not saying they're trash. I'm not saying they're not good. I mean, but they're overhyped. Okay, so let me see. I'm not gonna show you my DD214, but I do have here somewhere. So just my folder. It's just full of awards and certificate of appreciations, and I don't know, anything I got that was official when I was in the military. And this one is the one. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna read it and then I'll show it on screen. And like I mentioned before, I've talked to people in elite forces. You know, I really didn't chit chat with Navy SEALs. Like I said, it was just brief. You know, just when conflict or it was just brief work-related issues with ISR. But I really talk to Green Berets a lot, and the reason is because stateside, I trained a little bit alongside with them, and a couple of times just in Afghanistan, just running into each other, we would just chit chat. Okay, so one time when I was stateside, I got pulled for training, and I had to train or help with training. And so this is a certificate of appreciation from the man of SFOD, so Special Forces Operation Detachment Alpha 5312. Thank you for your generous support and contributions as an Afghanistan local police role player during JRTC rotation 1207. Your contributions generally enhance the overall success of SFODA's 5312's pre-deployment training. And so there's this. And when we were training alongside each other, we had a lot of downtime, you know, and at that time I was getting to re-enlistment. I was up for re-enlistment, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna get out or stay in. And I was thinking, if I stay in, it just, I hated the army. Being stateside and in garrison is just like the worst. Like everybody stresses like the little BS. Oh my God, especially in my company was I don't know, man. It's just like room inspections and a bunch of uniform inspections and all this other BS, and I was kind of done with it. You know, I was just wanted to do what I signed up for, and none of the extra stuff. And I talked to these guys about SF, and they told me their views. Some of them said that it wasn't what they thought it would be. That almost like basically like it didn't live up to the hype. That but it's better than the regular army. It was better than the regular army because it was way more relaxed. You didn't do any of that of the BS that the regular army does, like formations and just regular army BS, and you focus more on your actual job. So that's what I really wanted. But then they were saying that it's still, even with that, it still wasn't that great, because you never know where they're gonna send you, and with that, it's like it gets boring, and a lot of times where you're going, you're not really still, even then, you're not doing your job. I don't know. They basically said like it's better than the regular army, but again, it still wasn't living up to the hype. And with them, I also talked about other elite service members too. And yes, same thing. They thought it was overhyped. I remember, like again, that's not the first group of special forces people that told me that. One time in Kuwait, I ran into some people. They said the same thing. And I even talked to locally. I know somebody whose son is in special forces, and she told me that her son told her the same thing, that it wasn't. It was overhyped, So look, again, you don't take my word for it. Look, ask around. Ask somebody who's been in. Like, do you think did it live up to your expectations? Hell, the army didn't live up to my expectations. That's why I even said the army's overrated. You could ask a whole bunch of service members. Everyone has their opinion. This is my opinion. I think they're overrated. Let me see what else. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, and I also said like I think I want it to be more like kind of like constructive criticism, and that there should be really more a focus on training against guerrilla warfare, and mainly like against ambushes, because 9 times out of 10 that's what's gonna happen, and that's really where we failed. And we see, I could name you just off the top of my head, like every time that we've been ambushed, we've lost. Like a lot of the times, our biggest losses are from ambushes. The Extortion 17, that was kind of like an ambush. Operation Red Wings, Black Hawk Down. I'm trying to think. I'm just again naming off the top of my head. It's I know that even when they overran certain cops, I know the unit is I think it was 173rd. They got their cops ambushed, and freaking I don't know, like 8 or 9 people died. It happened a couple times. That's where we kind of fail in the military. The Tongo one in Nigeria. That's another one. And you have special forces there. Again, it's when you don't see it coming, it's really difficult to overcome it. And I don't know how really how one could train better for that, but I do know that needs to be a better focus. Anyways, that's my 2 cents.